Hello. Hello, students.
Afternoon, sir.
Okay. All of you, very good afternoon to all of you. So now we'll start the 1 year batch of the zoology class, right? So we'll have written here the topic locomotion and movement. So locomotion and movement, you see that is brought about by the skeletal system of the body. There are two type of the skeletal system in the body are there. This is brought about by the skeleton system in the body. Now there are two types of skeleton. One is called as the axial skeleton. Okay, axial skeleton, and then appendicular skeleton. Okay, appendicular skeleton. There are two types of skeleton are there: axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Now, so axial skeleton, this will be the head or thorax and abdomen, and lower portion of the body is called as appendicular skeleton. So now I think we have some of the we have the skeletal bones in the head is there, in the face we have bones are there, vertebral columns are there. Okay, we have the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle is there. Okay, we have the now this okay, so now uh, I want to start directly the question because the directly we will take up the the locomotion and movement questions. So now we'll start with question number one now. Question number one. Okay, so we'll start there. Out of okay, this question came in the so many exams. Okay, including NEET exams and all. So out of X pairs of ribs, out of X pairs of ribs. Okay, in human only Y pairs are 2 ribs. In human beings, okay, out of X pairs of ribs, in human beings, so only Y pairs of are true. Only Y pairs are Y pairs are 2 ribs. Are true ribs. Y pairs are 2 ribs. Okay, so now so here Y pairs are the 2 ribs. So now select the option that correctly represents value of X and Y. Select the options okay that correctly represent the value of X and Y. Represent the value of what? X and Y, right? So now here, and we have to provide their explanation and provide their explanation. Provide their explanation. Okay, explanation. Okay, this 217. This was asked in the year. Okay, 217. Okay, 201. So now, okay. So this part is finished, student. This part is finished. Student, now this question is finished. Yeah, up till here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we will write the next part of the questions. Okay, all of you are finished now. So we write the next part. Okay, next part of the questions now. Okay. So now here, number A. Option number A will be here. A. Option number A. X is equal to 12. Y is equal to 7. Y is equal to 7. X is equal to 12. Y is equal to 7. And 2 ribs are attached dorsally to vertebral column and ventrally to the sternum. 2 ribs are attached are attached dorsally. Two ribs are attached. Okay, dorsally attached. Dorsally, two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column. To the vertebral column. Vertebral column and false ribs to the sternum, to the sternum, false rib to the sternum. Number B now, number B here. Okay, x is equal to 12, y is equal to 5, right? X is equal to 12, y is equal to 5. Two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column. Two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column. Same thing here. Two ribs are attached, okay, dorsally to vertebral column. Dorsally to vertebral column. Okay, dorsally to vertebral column and sternum on the two sides. And sternum on the two sides. Sternum on the two sides. And option number B is option number C now. X is equal to 24, y is equal to 7. X is equal to 24, y is equal to 7. Okay. So here they say that two ribs are dorsally attached to the vertebral column. Two ribs are dorsally attached. Dorsally attached to the vertebral column. Attached to the vertebral column. Dorsally attached to the vertebral column. Okay, vertebral column and sternum on the two sides. Vertebral column, but are free on the ventral side. But are free on the ventral side. Free on the ventral side. Okay, free on the ventral side. And option number D now, x is equal to 24, y is equal to 12. X is equal to 24, y is equal to 12. Okay, twice. Y is equal to 12. Okay, now here two ribs are dorsally attached to the vertebral column. Okay, two ribs are dorsally attached. Okay, to the dorsally attached to the vertebral column. Dorsally attached to the vertebral column and so free on the ventral side, or we can say but are free on the ventral side. On the ventral side. So now here we see that X is representing, X are the total pair of ribs in the human being. These are the total pair of ribs in the human being, and Y is the pairs of the true ribs. Y is the pair of true ribs. Okay. X is the total pairs of ribs. Total pair of ribs. Okay. Total pair of ribs. Suppose here. Okay. This is that. X is these are the rib bones now. Okay. Rib bones now. So X total pair of ribs, and Y is the okay. Y is the pair of the true ribs. Y is the pairs of true ribs. So now you have to answer here. There are four options given here. Number one, X is equal to 12. That means total pair of ribs will be 12, and the total pairs of the true ribs will be 7. And the answer is that Y explanation is there given there. True ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column and false ribs to the sternum. And the second one, X is equal to 12 and Y is equal to 5. So here also true ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column and sternum on the two sides, right? And X is equal to 12. 24. Total pair of ribs 24. True ribs 7. Explanation is there. True ribs are dorsally attached to the vertebral column but are free on the ventral side. Okay, then we have number D. X is equal to 24. True ribs are 24. And you see pairs, this total pair of ribs are 24 and the pairs of true ribs are 12. Why? Because here the true ribs are dorsally attached to the vertebral column but are on the ventral side. So which option we take as the correct option? So option we take as a correct option is our number A, because there are total pairs of 12 ribs are there in human beings, and total number of the total pairs of the two ribs are 7. Why? Because the two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column and false ribs to the sternum. Okay. Now, if you go there, there is a false ribs are attached to the sternum, and the two ribs are attached to the vertebral column. If you see that this is a part of the sternum. This is a part of the sternum bones, and here the vertebral column starts. Okay, this is called as the sternum bone, and this is the vertebral column. Vertebral column starts. Okay, so now you see that the two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column. Okay, this is our vertebral column. With this they are attached. So two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column. There are how many pairs of ribs? 12 pairs of ribs. And the false ribs are attached to the sternum. Okay, false ribs are attached to the sternum, right? The sternum, with this the false ribs are attached to the sternum. Okay, so the two ribs are attached dorsally to the vertebral column and the false ribs to the sternum. Okay, because of that we have 12 pairs, all the 12 pairs, we have the total pair of ribs. Now in the exam, we draw the rib cage bone. Okay, rib cage bone. If we draw, they out of 12 pairs of ribs, we have to write there are 7 pairs of true ribs are there. Okay, then there are 7 pairs of. Let us write now. Let's write the answer will be option A. Okay, answer will be option number A. Option A. Answer will be option number A. Okay, so here let us write this. Okay, answer will be A now. So can go to the option number. Answer will be A. Option A. Okay, answer will be A. Right. Answer will be A. We write here. So you see that. Okay, true ribs are always attached to the sternum bone. Are always attached to sternum. Okay, attached to sternum bone. Sternum attached to the sternum bone. So, true ribs are always attached to the sternum bone in front. Sternum bone in front. Okay, this is in front. And we can say vertebral column on the back, and vertebral column on the back, vertebral column on the back. Okay, so now here these are 7 in number. Okay, true ribs are 7 in number. Sometimes they ask in the exam how many pairs of the true ribs are there. So you have to write there are 7 in numbers. Okay, how many pairs? They are 7 in number. True ribs 7 in number, and there are the 3 pairs of. Okay, there are 3 pairs of the false ribs. Okay, so we can also write that there are 3 pairs of three pairs of false ribs. False ribs. Okay, three pairs of false ribs are there, and also there are two pairs of floating lips. There are two pairs of floating ribs. Okay, this question has come in the exam, so I am writing that ribs known as the gorilla ribs. It's called as the gorilla ribs. Okay, these are called as these two pairs of the floating ribs are called as the gorilla ribs. So now here we will want to say that the rib number 1 to 7 are the true ribs. Okay, true ribs are right here. True ribs. Ribs are 1 to 7. Okay, rib number 1 to 7. 8, 9, 10th. 8, 9, 10th are the false ribs. False ribs are 8, 9, and 10. And these floating ribs, or we can say gorilla ribs. Floating ribs, or is called as the gorilla. Okay, gorilla ribs. These are how many pairs? These are 11 and 12 are called as the floating ribs or gorilla ribs, right? Okay. So now this is very important question. To mark this, and this is also very important question. So now we go to next. We'll move to the next question now. Next question. Okay. Now. Okay. Now here see the pivot joint. They are saying the pivot joint between the atlas and axis. Okay. The pivot joint between atlas and axis is a type of atlas, and axis is a type of what kind of joint? Is a type of option number A is a fibrous joint. Is a type of fibrous joint. Okay, is the type of the fibrous joint. Fibrous joint. Number B, you can say here. Okay, the cartilaginous joint. Cartilaginous joint. Then we have synovial joint. Synovial joint. And number D is saddle joint. Saddle joint. SADDL is saddle joint. Okay, synovial joint. And also we have the saddle joint. So here we can say that the joint between axis and atlas of this. So here on the backbone we have axis and atlas. The attachment of the two bones. Okay, this is the axis bones and atlas bones. Okay, what kind of joint? Axis, atlas bone. This kind of joint is very strong joint. It cannot be detached, and it is called as a fibrous joint. This kind of joint is called as the fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint does not allow any kind of movement. So it's called the fibrous joint. So it is the joint between this is joint between the okay, atlas and axis. No, atlas and axis joint is so here we can say that okay, it will be the synovial joint, not the fibrous joint. It is a synovial joint because here we can slightly do the movement, no movement like that we can do. This is due to the between the two joint axis and atlas there is a fluid. So this fluid is called as synovial fluid. Because of the synovial fluid, there is a movement of our neck over the vertebral column, and because atlas and axis of the two bones of the vertebral upper part of the vertebral column they join, and this joining is a synovial joint. So option number C, answer will be C here, synovial joint. Synovial joint. What is that? So now we will do what is fibrous joint and the cartilaginous joint. Okay, and this ferrous joint. What? Let's call it first of all. What is fibrous joint? Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, we go to our synovial joint. Synovial joint. In this joint, we can write here a considerable amount of movement is allowed. Considerable amount of movement is allowed. Okay, movement is allowed. Considerable amount of movement is allowed. Okay. Then after that, we go to the fibrous joint. This is the answer, but along with the answer, let us understand that fibrous, synovial, and saddle joint, because in the exam they will ask the question from the fibrous, synovial, and saddle joint. We will do that also. So now here I'll go to the fibrous joint. What is the fibrous joint now? Okay, then we have the fibrous joint. No, what is fibrous joint? What is the fibrous joint? So they do not allow movement. These joints, okay, we can write these joints do not allow any movement. Do not allow any movement. This joint do not allow any movement because the bones are held firmly. Because bones are held, okay, firmly. Bones are held firmly. Bones are held, okay, HELD. Bones are held firmly. Bones are held firmly. Okay. Bones are held firmly, okay, by bundles of white fibrous tissue. By bundles of white fibrous tissue. Bundles of white fibrous tissue. White fibrous tissue. As for example, if we see that the joint of the skull bones, okay, skull bones, all the bones of the skull, these are the bones of the skull. These are the fibrous joints. All the bones of the skulls are fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint. So example, joint between bones of the skull. Okay, example of the fibrous joint is joint between bones of skull. Joint between bones of skull. Okay, that is the example of the fibrous joint. Then we have the cartilaginous joint. After fibrous joint, okay, we will go to the cartilaginous joint. Okay, we'll go to the cartilaginous joint, number C now, or we go. Let's go to the cartilaginous joint. What is cartilaginous joint? Okay, cartilaginous joint this joint will allow slight movement because of the elastic pads of the fibrocartilage. Elastic pads of the fibrocartilage present in them. Okay, so here we can write there they allow. Okay, they allow slight movement. Cartilaginous joint, they allow. Okay, they allow. Okay, they allow slight movement. SLIGST, slight they allow slight movement. Okay, so they allow slight movement. Okay, because of the elastic pads of fibrocartilage. They, they, they allow slight movement because of what? Because of the elastic pads of the fibrocartilage. Slight movement because of elastic pads. Elastic, okay, elastic pads of fibrocartilage. Fibrocartilage. Elastic pads of the fibrocartilage between the ends of the bones. Between the ends of the bone. Between the ends of the bones. Ends of the bones. Okay, between the ends of the bones, right? Okay, then now example of the cartilaginous joint is pubic symphysis of pubis. Pubic, okay, pubic symphysis of pubis. Okay, pubic symphysis of pubis. This is the example of the cartilaginous joint, very important. Okay, pubis is the ventral part. Okay, joint between the two long bones. Okay, then we go to the saddle joint. What is this saddle joint? Now we go last one. We'll go to the saddle joint. What do you mean by the saddle joint? SADDLE. What is the saddle joint? Okay, saddle joint is very important. Saddle joint is a type of the synovial joint, and it is type of the ball and socket joint. Okay, ball and socket joint. Now you see that the socket and this is a ball, no? So this is a socket and this is a ball in the. So here also we have the ball and socket joint at the arms. So this kind of joint is called as a saddle joint. Okay, so now here we can write that. Okay, the saddle joint. This is the type of. So inside there will be the synovial fluid. Inside there will be ball and socket is there, and inside we have the synovial fluid is there. Synovial fluid is there. This ball and socket arm bone. If you go to the arm bone, we get the ball and socket, and in between ball and the socket, we have the synovial fluid. Because of that, there is a movement of the arms will take place. Okay, so now here, you just write down there. Okay, you're writing there, saddle joint. Okay, saddle joint. Now, this is a synovial joint. It is a type of synovial joint. It is a type of synovial joint. Okay, synovial joint, right? And then, okay, this now example will be in the ball and socket joint. Okay, the ball and socket joint containing okay, synovial fluid inside. Synovial fluid inside. Okay, is the example. Okay, is the example, right? In the example, right? And then, okay, example, joint between carpal of hand. Example we can write there. Another example is joint between these are the carpals. Okay, joint between the carpal of hand. Okay, joint between the carpal of hand. And this is our saddle joint. Okay. So now we go to next question. Now we'll go to the next question now. Okay, next question is here. So I think we have completed. Okay, now then this also came in the NEET exam, so that's why I've given this question. Okay, another question for the NEET exam now. Okay, now here we will complete this. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go to lack of relaxation. Lack of relaxation. Question right on the lack. LACK. Just start from here. Okay. Lack of relaxation. Lack of relaxation between successive stimuli. Lack of relaxation between successive successive stimuli. Between successive stimuli, lack of relaxation between successive stimuli. Successive stimuli is in sustained muscle contraction. In sustained muscle contraction. Sustained, okay, muscle contraction. Sustained muscle contraction is known as this question also from NEET exam is known as number A. Okay, fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. Number B, we can say it is called as tetanus. Okay, tetanus. Number C, we can go to this tonus and spasm. Tonus, and number D is spasm. Tonus and spasm. Okay, so now here we'll go to the lack of relaxation between successive stimuli in sustained muscle contraction is called as fatigue, or is called as our tetanus, or is called as our tonus, or it is called as the spasm. So now sustained muscle contraction. Okay, when the muscle, suppose we take a muscle, and if the muscle will fatigue, tired, muscle will fatigue or it is tired, then there is a successive the successive contraction of the muscle, and and there will be no relaxation, only contraction is there, and this is called as the tetanus. So answer will be number B, tetanus. No, answer will be number B, tetanus. Tetanus. Okay, tetanus. Tetanus is here. So tetanus. It is caused due to sustained muscle contraction. Due to sustained muscle contraction. Sustained muscle contraction is caused due to sustained muscle contraction, and the result is what? Due to tiredness of muscle. The result is due to the tiredness of muscle or the muscle fatigue. The result is due to muscle fatigue. Okay, muscle fatigue. Now, okay, then we go to quickly next question. We'll move there in the now we'll move to the next question. Now name the ion. Okay, now next question will go to Okay, name the ion. Name the ion responsible for. Name the ion. Okay, name the ion. Ion responsible for unmasking of active sites. Ion responsible for unmasking of active sites. Unmasking of active sites. Unmasking of active sites of the myosin. Active sites of myosin or cross bridges. Activity during muscle contraction. Cross bridges activity during you can say muscle contraction. During muscle contraction. Here is number A, we see calcium. Number B, okay, they say that the magnesium, then number C, sodium. Okay, then number D, we have the potassium. Sodium, then we have potassium. Okay. So the ion responsible for unmasking the active sites of the myosin for cross bridge activity is called as what now? Okay, now you see that when the thin filament will slide over the thick filament. Okay, thick filament. There will be sliding. Okay, this is called as thin filament slide over. You can say that. Okay, sliding of thin filament over thick filament. Okay, over thick filament is called the sliding theory of. This is called as the sliding filament theory of muscle contraction. So here, between the thick and thin filament, there are the two type of the proteins are there. Actin protein and myosin protein are there. Okay, and these two filaments will slide over each other. There is a formation of the cross bridge. This is the formation of the cross bridge will be formed. Cross bridge formation will be formed when the thin filament will slide over actin filament or over thick filament, or actin will slide over the myosin filament. Okay, then which will be ion responsible for that. So the ion responsible here, the calcium ion, is called as the calcium ion. So we can just write here answer number A. Answer A. Okay, this is the calcium ion. Answer number A, calcium ion, or Ca++. Calcium ion. Why calcium ion is there? Because okay, you can just write there. Calcium ion binds with units of troponin. Units of the troponin. Calcium ion binds with the unit of the troponin. Okay, which is responsible for masking of the active site of, which is responsible for masking of okay, responsible for masking of active sites for myosin. Masking of active site of myosin. Okay, myosin. There are two types of proteins are there in the muscle: actin and myosin filament. Actin is the thin filament, and myosin is the thick filament. So myosin is masked here with the protein troponin. Okay, this is our myosin. This is our thick filament containing here myosin. And see, myosin will be masked. This will be masked here by the troponin. The troponin will be over myosin. So that unmasking of the myosin will be done by the calcium ion. So calcium ion bind with the unit of troponin and remove the troponin. Calcium ion will remove the troponin, which have already masked the myosin, which has covered the myosin. So if the myosin, if the unmasking of the myosin, then the cross bridge can easily form, and the sliding of the thin filament on the thick filament can take place. So masking activity of the myosin. Okay, active site. Okay. So responsible for masking of active site of the myosin through tropomyosin. Okay, through tropomyosin. Okay. The event initiates a cross bridge activity. This event will form, or we can say initiate. This event initiates the formation of cross bridges. BRIDGES. Cross bridges will be formed. Okay. This is the one thin filament, thick filament, and this is called as the cross bridges. The cross bridges will form, and the sliding will take place. Okay, sliding will take place. So now, okay, we'll go to next question now. Okay, now next question will go here. So we write down the next question now. Okay. This question from the NEET 2016 now, another question. Okay. So here we write here, next question, osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is an age-related disease of skeletal system. An age-related disease of okay, skeletal system. Disease of skeletal system. Okay, the skeletal system may occur due to. Very simple question they have asked there. May occur due to number A. Number A. Okay, this is NEET 2016. This question is coming from NEET 2016. Okay, 2016. Okay, phase 2. Okay, so now number A, immune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction. Immune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction. Affecting neuromuscular junction. Okay, immune disorder affecting affecting neuromuscular disorder, right? Okay. Then neuromuscular disorder, uh, neuromuscular junction. Okay, neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue. Okay, leading to okay, leading to fatigue. Fatigue. Okay, fatigue means the tiredness. Number B now. Okay, high concentration of calcium ion and sodium ion. High concentration of calcium ion and sodium ion. High concentration of the calcium ion and sodium ion. Then we have decreased level of estrogen. Decreased level of estrogen. Decreased level of estrogen. Then accumulation of uric acid. Number D is accumulation of accumulation of uric acid. Accumulation of uric acid. Okay, uric acid leading to inflammation of joint. Leading to inflammation of joint. Leading to inflammation of joint. Okay, so this is the question here. So now, okay, so osteoporosis and age-related disease of the skeletal system may occur due to immune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue, high concentration of the calcium ion and sodium ion, and decreased level of the estrogen, and also accumulation of uric acid leading to inflammation of joint. So, okay. Okay, now here, okay, you see that osteoporosis is mainly found in the deficiency, decreased level of the hormone estrogen. Okay, because if there decreased level of estrogen causes okay, there will be the bone will be suppose the bone, okay, if there is less amount of the estrogen, there will be the bone will be weak, and all the mineral ions, all the minerals and of the bones will be slowly lost, and there is a thinning of the bone. That's called the osteoporosis, and this is found mainly high rate is found in the women. Okay, in the women during the post menopause stage, after the stoppage of the menstrual cycle, that's called the post menopause stage. During the post menopause stage of the menstrual cycle, okay, this is the thinning of the bone and weakening of the bone, and it makes the bone fatigue also. But the main cause is decreased level of estrogen. So we can just write the answer there: decreased level of estrogen. Answer will be number C, decreased level of estrogen. Decreased level of estrogen. Okay. It causes deficiency of estrogen. We can write there: deficiency of estrogen hormone. Estrogen hormone causes loss of mineral ions, thinning of bones, the thinning of bone and thetic. Okay, it is found in Oman. It is found in Oman. Oman during. It is found in Oman during. Okay, during post menopause. Post menopause stage. Okay, post menopause stage, right? Okay. Okay, menopause stage, right? Then after that we go to next question now. We'll go to next question now. Okay. Okay. Then next question is our very simple. It's also in the need. Smooth muscles are. After that we'll go to. Okay. Smooth muscles are. Next question will go now. Okay. Question now. Smooth muscles. Smooth muscles. Smooth muscles. Okay. Are very simple. There's also NEET exam. Okay. 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018 NEET exam. Involuntary. Okay. Option A. Involuntary. Involuntary fusiform. Okay. Involuntary fusiform and non-striated. And you see non-striated. Non-striated. Number B. Non-striated. Okay, then another one is the voluntary, multinucleate, and cylindrical. Voluntary, multinucleate. Okay, multinucleate. Right, multinucleate and cylindrical. Multinucleate and cylindrical. Okay. Then we have C is here. Okay, involuntary, cylindrical, and striated. Involuntary, cylindrical. Okay, cylindrical and striated. Okay, number D now. Number D is the voluntary, spindle shaped, and uninucleate. Voluntary. Okay, voluntary, spindle shaped, and uninucleate. Okay, we have the two type of muscle, smooth muscle and the striated muscle. Or okay, so now here the question is, they have given that smooth muscles. What is the characteristic of smooth muscles? The smooth muscles are involuntary, fusiform, and the non-striated. Okay, then they say that smooth muscles are voluntary, multinucleate, and cylindrical. The smooth muscles are involuntary, cylindrical, and striated. Smooth muscles are voluntary, spindle shaped, and uninucleate. So now here we can say that we can say answer number A. Smooth muscles are involuntary, fusiform, and the non-striated. Okay, so these muscles are located where? They are located in the hollow visceral organ of the body. They are located where? In the hollow visceral organ of the body, like the alimentary canal. Okay, alimentary canal, hollow visceral organs are there, alimentary canal, and okay. Now, so we write here, answer will be number A. Answer will be answer number A. Okay, these muscles are located located in the visceral organ, VIS. Okay, in the visceral, VISCERL, visceral organ of the body, like alimentary canal, like okay, alimentary, okay, like okay, alimentary canal, alimentary, okay, alimentary canal, like alimentary canal, okay, alimentary canal. We can say that. Okay, then okay, reproductive tract also we can say, alimentary canal, reproductive tract, etc. Tract, etc. We can give the two places, smooth muscle. Okay, now, okay, they their activities are under the control of autonomous and hormonal control. Okay, now here we can say that their activity is under the control of autonomous nervous system, and under hormonal control, hormonal control. So these hormones, they are the hormones which will excite the autonomous nervous system, and they will control their control become involuntary, and these muscles are fusiform, they are united together and non-striated. Okay, so this much explanation is enough, I think. Okay, because okay, now, so they are, that's why they are involuntary, no, or we can write there, hence they are involuntary, and they are involuntary, okay, they are involuntary. So now next question we'll go to, next question we write here, okay, okay, now this is a very simple question, just now we have done also. Just now we have done this question. So student, now you have to reply this question to me. I'll write the question and answer, you have to say me. Because in the previous question we have done this in the other way, the same question is now twisted. So now you have to write this question. Now, which of the following joint would allow no movement? Okay, which of the following joint? Allow no movement, allows no movement. Just now we have done. Which of the following joints allows? Okay, allows no movement. Which of the following joint allows no movement? Right. So here we can say that the option is there: cartilaginous joint. Okay, number A, cartilaginous joint. Number B, synovial joint. Synovial joint. C will be saddle joint. And number D, fibrous joint. Right? So now, which of the following joint allows no movement? Just now we have done that. See, the fibrous joint does not allow any kind of movement, because between the spaces of the bones of skull, so there is a fibrous joint. So bones of the skull, the fibrous tissues are connected without leaving any gap, and due to that, any kind of movement is impossible. So answer will be fibrous joint. Just now we have done also before in the before question. So answer number D now, fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint. Okay, now next question will go. After that, we'll go to next question. Little bit tough next question now. So this question came in the CBSE AIPMT now. Okay. CBSE AIPMT now this question. So here, okay, which of the following is not a which of the following is not a function of skeletal system? Is not a function of a skeletal system. Not a function of skeletal system. Okay. Not a function of skeletal system. So options are here: production of erythrocytes, production of erythrocytes. Number B. Okay. Number B is here. Okay. Storage of minerals. Okay. Storage of minerals. Storage of minerals. Number C. B. Storage of minerals. Number C. Production of body heat. Production of body heat. And then number D. Locomotion. Locomotion. This is a very simple question, student. So try to answer this question. Try to answer this. Which one is not the function of the skeletal system?
Production of the body heat.
Yeah, correct. In the production of the body heat, because production of the body heat is function of the muscle. Okay. So here red bone marrow will produce erythrocytes. It can store minerals. It can help in the locomotion, but it cannot produce the heat. It is a function of the muscle. So answer will be number C. Production of heat. Production of heat, because it is a function of muscle. Because it is a function of muscles. Okay. Function of muscles. Now we'll go to next question now. Okay. Now next question will go. Okay. Then here. Okay. Now. Okay. So next question is slightly, we can take that. Okay. Select the correct matches. Select the correct matches. Select the correct matches. Okay. Of the type of the joint with example of matches of the type of joint. Type of joint with examples. Okay. With examples. Type of joints with examples, right? So now we'll go to, okay, type of joints and examples, right? Joints and examples. Number A, cartilaginous joint. Number A is, see, cartilaginous joint. Cartilaginous joint. Example they are given between frontal and the parietal. Between frontal and parietal. These are the bones. These are the bones of the skull, frontal bone and parietal bone. And then we have the pivot joint. Number B is the pivot. P-I-V-O-T. Pivot joint. Pivot joint is between the third and the fourth cervical vertebrae. Between the third and fourth cervical vertebrae. Okay. And we go to number C now. Hinge joint. H-I-N-G-E. Hinge joint. You know the hinge, no? Hinge of your door. This is your door, and here is the hinge, no? This joint is called the hinge joint. So hinge joint is found, okay, between humerus and pectoral girdle. between humerus and pectoral girdle, and pectoral, humerus and pectoral girdle, girdle, between humerus and pectoral girdle. And then we have the gliding joint between carpals. Okay, gliding joint. The gliding joint between between carpals. Gliding joint is found. Gliding joint. Okay, gliding joint between carpals. Between carpals. So gliding joint between carpals. So now here, these are the different kinds of joints here. So now the glide. Okay. Okay. So here we take the answer gliding joint. Okay, answer will be here. Select the correct match between the carpals, gliding joint, and explanation will give you in the next class. The gliding joint is there, and answer number D. Okay, and student explanation we will give in the next class for this. Okay, because the time is running and other teacher is waiting to